So welcome to this podcast with me, Chris Jones, around Talent Campus. We have our new Talent Campus 8 about to run. And last year I ran a survey with all past Talent Campers about what they would like to get out of a reunion from Talent Campus. And then number two things came out, which were the rocket fuel to the soul, that I think is the kind of foundation of what Talent Campus is really all about. But also to hear success stories from past Talent Campers, what they've achieved since they did Talent Campus. And I'm delighted to say that we've got Paniota with us, who is one of the superstars of Talent Campus 4. But, you know, pre-pandemic, of course, and she's been on an incredible journey, and she's here to share that story with us. So welcome, Paniota. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Thank you, Chris, for inviting me on this podcast.
Fantastic. So I don't want to get too much into Talent Campus now. We'll come back to that at the end. But just give me a quick, brief rundown of what your Talent Campus experience was like.
I would say it was quite inspiring, and it gave me kind of, I suppose it's words that you use, rocket fuel to get things done, because I'd gone off to university many, many years before, and quite a prestigious screenwriting school. But yet I hadn't got anything written or got things done or got things made. And I think Talent Campus came along at a time when it was just when my father had died. And it just made me realise, shit, we haven't got long. We need to get stuff done. And the Talent Campus that I went on really kind of pushed me and encouraged me to not be afraid to get things written, get things made. And the incredible amount of people that I met, especially sort of, the community of writers and those that were supporting us as tutors, it kind of really lifted me up and made me feel like, yeah, you know what, I can go and do this. I can do this.
Amazing. And then you did. So you put on a show, and tell us all about that show that you put on.
That was a play that I did at Ep008 in Camden. I managed to swindle a 2-week run out of them. A lot of it was networking. I knew a few people that run the theatre. But what I did to get those 2 weeks, because obviously having that space for 2 weeks is very expensive for a theatre to hand out freely, which it did. I just went and basically volunteered 2 days a week, helping them in the back office, and did loads of things that the theatre needed that they couldn't afford to pay for, and put my marketing skills and comm skills to use and really helped the theatre. And in return, they gave me 2 weeks space, and I wrote a play. And it was a play about social issues, about disability, and particularly a subject that was at the time in the news, where if you were paralysed or you ended up in a wheelchair, you weren't going to get care at home. You were not going to get carers come support you or adaptions. Actually, we're going to stick you in a care home, no matter who you were. And it was inspired by a story that I met, a lady that I met at Stoke Mandeville Hospital, who was fighting to get back to her flat in South London because they wouldn't let her return home after she was paralysed. And so the story was inspired by that. I sat down and literally in 3 months wrote the screenplay. And then I thought, you know what, this would make a great play. And I asked Ep008 if they would support me to get it on. And the rest of it, to be honest, I raised funds to pay for myself, to pay for the actors, to pay for the art direction, the marketing. It was a crazy experience producing it myself, but I did it. It was a 2-week run. It was sell out. It got lots of positive feedback, and I think it gave me that first solid credit that I needed really to press forward with other projects.
Right, and I love that you traded sweat equity to get the space. Where there isn't a way, you'll find a way. You'll make a way, which is very much what Talent Campus is really about. Did any of the Talent Campers that you did Talent Campus 4 with you come on that journey through that play?
Yes. Oh my God, I'm going to be really embarrassed now. I'm trying to remember the name. It was an art director. Oh my God, I've forgotten his name. Keith.
I remember Keith.
Yes. Keith was an art director on a lot of prestigious movies. We got on really well together, a really gentle guy. I'm very drawn to to people that have got a gentle aura, and we got on really well. And I told him about the play, and he said, did you know that I was an art director on movies? I was like, no. He said, I can come and help you. And literally, I gave him a budget of 500 quid, and he turned the set into this amazing space. We got a lot of amazing feedback on the way he designed it. And literally, me and him together over a weekend, he went, there's a hammer, there's a piece of this, stick it up on that. And he designed it all. But between me and him over the weekend before the opening, we put it all together. I probably killed him. I think he works 24 hours per day. But you know what? He did it. It was brilliant. And then he went back to, Temple on Sky, and designing that. And it was like, oh, he just did that for me. But totally grateful, because with that, I think it really added something to the play. He kind of was inspired 1970s NHS look. And we had this modern play set in this space that looked like old NHS. It was fantastic. And that came from him, and I wouldn't have never thought of that.
Right. And what were the economics of the play like? Did you make money back on ticketing, or
No.
was it a loss?
I basically, I was £3,000 short myself. So I put, the space was free. I think obviously money was made in the bar for the theatre, and I expect a lot of money was made, which was great, because they gave me that space that normally I think it'd be about £500 a day. No, I didn't. I didn't make money back. The thing is, I lost 3,000, but I saw it as an investment.
Yeah.
Because I got a fantastic play out of it, a 2-week run. I got a credit. I got lots of great reviews, and I got a fantastic experience of putting it all together myself and doing it myself. And to me, I saw it as an investment, to be honest, because, we invest in a lot of things. All right. Sure. And I saw something tangible there, and people came to see it, and I got lots of feedback, and I got lots of meetings. I used one night to invite production companies and agents, and they all turned up, and they ate lots of Greek food, and they drank all the booze, and they turned up, and I thought, just going to come and see it and hike off, but they didn't. I got emails saying, come in and talk to us. I went to speak to Kudos. I went to speak to lots of different production companies, that came to see, and a lot of them were people that I'd also met at the London Screenwriters Festival and stayed connected with, and at Crucible at Talent Campus, I stayed connected with them, and I invited them, and they remembered me, and they came.
Right, and Crucible is that party at the very end of Talent Campus where we unleash the talent campers on the industry people have agreed to come and meet everybody. Which is kind of like the crazy conclusion to Talent Campus.
It's brilliant though, Chris. It's absolutely brilliant, because what we mustn't forget is when we meet these people, it's not we'll send you a script next week to them. It's about cultivating a relationship. You're not going to get an answer or something happen overnight. You have to act normal, not act like you're crazy, meet these people, engage with them, get their emails. And I did, and I got some very big emails, which, I agreed to touch base with them at a later date. And in terms of the play, I did that with some of them, and they didn't go, oh, it's this crazy woman that I met Crucible. Oh, it's actually that really nice, engaging lady who had some interesting things that she wants to write about. You know what? I'm going to go and see her play. I'm going to send some people to go and see her play. And then I got meetings out of it. Yeah. And those relationships are just keep going, cultivating year after year. You're not going to get overnight response. You got to show them what you're doing new. Your writing's going to get better. So that's when you get out your trump card 2 or 3 years later with these people.
So the play's completed, and it's a week later, and you're reflecting on the whole experience. What do you think are the big takeaways? What did you learn? What did it give you?
It taught me that you're not going to get anywhere without hard work. Listen, I'm working class. I never went to some posh school. I didn't go to any film schools, okay? I realised that blood, sweat and tears and a lot of networking will probably get you the same results. And The takeaways were I got to work with actors, which I'd never done before, and that was developing a skill for me as a director. The second takeaway shows that, if you ask, you're probably going to get. I asked them for free space, and they went, you know what, all right, we'll give it to you, and probably the third takeaway for me is, oh my God, the feeling of watching the audience absorb
Yeah.
and take in what you've done. I stood there every night facing the audience. I didn't watch my play. I watched the
Yeah.
audience. And sometimes as a screenwriter, you don't get to do that because your film or your short film could be shown anywhere and you may not be there. But every night I stood and watched the audience, and I watched them laugh and I watched them cry. And it made me realize, oh my God, I can write. I'm writing emotionally engaging, entertaining stuff. It gave me validation that I was not a bad writer.
Right. I mean, you've raised two really incredible points there. One, earlier on was that execution trumps planning. And we can get stuck in planning all too often. And actually what we need to do is just go, I don't care what it takes. I'm going to make this happen. And when you make that decision, it shows up in your body and your energy, and people can sense it. And then they get on board your train with you. It's incredible.
I think I totally agree with you. And also, things are going to go wrong. Oh my God, so many things went wrong. And some of my actors, pushed the boundaries a little bit. And these are all things that you're going to learn. If you're a director or a writer, you're going to learn people are going to push your buttons a little bit. And these are all skills that you build and you learn to sort of deal with. But yeah, I
Yeah.
would agree.
And the other thing that you really eloquently highlighted is the incredible value of being present when your work is performed, whether that's being at a screening of your film or literally, as you did, standing with the audience and feeling that engagement, because we're kind of genetically programmed through tens of thousands of years of storytelling to be present when the story is told, when we share our story in order to evoke a reaction or an insight for other human beings. And to feel that connection is so, so powerful.
Absolutely. And for me, I think that's the fun part of writing, to be honest, and we don't get enough of it. If we, as screenwriters, we probably don't get enough of it. So I would thoroughly recommend to anybody, you want to test your work out. There's a lot of initiatives around, that you can write a 10-minute play and get it on somewhere. There are a lot of initiatives. You don't have to try and go, 2 hours worth. There's places, there's platforms everywhere, where you can try and get your work on, or ask local theatres, can I try this out? Can I do this? 100%.
Was your play ever filmed at all? Is there a record of it?
Yes, it was. But it was filmed by the theatre themselves. I don't know if they did it very well, to be
Right.
honest. But yeah, it was. It
Okay.
wasn't. I forgot to do it. But in all the kind of you know busyness of organising and the stress of it all, because it
Yeah.
was quite stressful. The one thing was I should have set a camera up to shoot it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you learn these things. You
Exactly.
learn.
Exactly. So let's move on to your short film, Loose Strands. Tell us what that's about and how it came to be.
Loose Strands is about a young woman who's sort of a relationship has broken down with her mother. Her mother's got a lot of mental health problems, and she ends up in a mental health institution. And the daughter, thinks this is my last chance to try and get through to mum and rebuild the relationship that was broken many years ago. And she does that in a unique way, in a traditional Greek way. And she goes to the hospital to try and reconnect with her mother, and her mother's still very sort of the walls up. And she just finds a very unique way of trying to communicate to her mother for that one day and getting through to her, to try and start to build a relationship. So that's what it's about.
Right. And I assume it was put together in your trademark, all guns blazing, here, all punches being thrown, just get it made any way you possibly can.
I'll tell you what, I made it through anger, to be honest, Chris, because it originally the idea got selected by the BFI short film development program, and I got to write the script for 4 to 5 months with a fantastic script editor, Jess Jones, I think her name is Jessica Jones, and we came. By the time we'd finished, it was this beautiful little film, and then I was encouraged to apply for BFI funding, which I did. I got shortlisted, interviewed, then I got rejected, and they went, "Oh, change this and come back to us," which I did, and then I got shortlisted, interviewed, and rejected. And I just thought, you know what, I'm not doing this a third time.
Yeah.
I'm up against probably lots of very talented people, but you know what? It took a year, that process of
Yeah.
applying and then interviewed, rejection, apply over a year of wasted time, which is what I thought it was. Wasted. I wasted a year applying. So I thought, you know what, I've had enough. And I went and I took advantage of some of their initiatives where you meet producers and stuff like that. And I met a few producers along the way, and I found one that was interested in the stories that I wanted to tell. And I'd already raised a little bit of money for it myself, and she just came on board. And between us, we raised a little bit more money, not a heck of a lot of money. And she had connections, I had connections, and between us, we got it made within 6 months.
Right. And can you show what the budget, the little bit of money was? You don't have to if you don't want to.
So the film cost £17,000 to make,
Right.
and we're not all there yet.
Yeah.
So we're still trying to raise funds.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if we can help you, promote your crowdfund or whatever, however you choose to do it, let us know. What was the journey like then? When you went, this is it, I'm doing it. How did that feel? What was the experience like?
Do you know what? I like the idea of being in control of my own stuff, not relying on others or waiting on others. And that experience of having to wait so long to then be told, no, you haven't got the money, made me realize, you know what, in that year, I could have made it myself. So it was really kind of energizing, I think, to think I'm going to get something made. This woman's going to help me, Leslie Ann McFarlane, Farlane Media. She came on board, and a very creative producer. And, I think it was kind of exhilarating to think, oh, we're moving forward, and there's going to be an end result to this. We were crowdfunding. We didn't get as much as we wanted, but it didn't matter. It's still going to get made. By hook or crook, it was going to get made,
Right. And again, that's central tenet of Talent Campus, which is don't wait for others to build your destiny. Build your destiny yourself. Like, you're in control of your own life. If you wait around for too long for other people to give you permission, you're just with a massive crowd of other people who are also waiting for that green light from a bunch of randoms almost. I mean, I don't want to denigrate people, but there's a lot of power put in the hands of very, very few people, and it's just much better to take action yourself and move forward and live or die on your own sword.
Absolutely. And let's think about it. We didn't have all the money, yet we still got it made. It got finished, and it's out there at the festivals, doing the festival rounds now, trying to get into festivals. Yet we didn't raise all the money. So work that out. How does that work? You don't think if you don't have the money, you're not going to get it done out there, because that's not true at all. Because I thought that at first. And then I realised, actually, that's a lie I've been telling myself, because in actual fact, I got it made and it's out to festivals right now, and we still didn't raise all the funds.
Right. The perfect budget is, in fact, exactly equal to the amount of money that you can raise by hook or by crook. And ever it will be so. And the other weird thing, I'm sure you had this experience, is that moment you've made that decision. We spoke about this earlier, that you say, I'm doing this thing, and people can sense it in you. They get on board. Money starts to appear. Resources start to appear. People start to help. They connect you with other people.
I mean, absolutely. I'll tell you what, I've been following this cinematographer for a very long time. When I first went to LCC to do my screenwriting degree, I remember watching one of his short films that he did that won a Palme d'Or, and I thought, oh my God, this guy's so talented, he was basically a friend of my tutor's, and that's why she showed it, and it was like, okay, like, and I've always followed his work, and, I didn't know him, didn't connect with him. And then when I decided to do Loose Strands, I thought, you know what? Panayiota, I'm going to ask him. So I contacted my tutor, who said, right, all right, I'll see if he wants to speak to you. And he said, yeah, I don't mind. He's based in Ireland. And we got on the phone. Lovely guy, lovely, lovely, lovely man. And, been there, done lots of big music videos, had gone on to film. And he recently, well, it was kind of like maybe a year or so ago, did Notes on Blindness, which is an amazing award-winning documentary. And they won lots of awards across the world. He's the first British guy to win the Golden Frog at Camera Image. And it was like, and I'm talking to him, and I mentioned Loose Strands, and I explained it to him, and he went, yeah, I like the sound of that. I think I'll come over to England to shoot that for you. And it was like, what? Like, and he was so generous, because not only did he come over and he shot the film, and we had a brilliant time with him, and he added so much value to the film. But, when we couldn't afford to bring him back for the colouring, he came on his own accord, paid his own ticket, like really, really generous guy. Now, I'd never imagined somebody who works in the business to be so generous, and he was. And I think it's because he believed in the project, and he liked the people that he worked with, the crew that we had. We treated him really well, like everybody got treated the same, and he was just so generous. And then he said to me, whatever else have you got? What else have you written? Come on, Panayiota, let's shoot another film. So he's now badgering me to get my next short written so he can come over and shoot the next one. And to me, that's validation for me.
Sure.
Someone like him telling me, right, your next one, I want to come over and shoot it, speaks volumes to me. And it lifts me up. It makes me feel, wow, that's great. And building my team as well, because that's another important thing. I'm starting to build a team that want to work with me, and I want to work with them, and I want to take them on the journey with me.
Amazing. Okay, so and when do you think people will be able to see the movie if they can't get to a festival? What's the plan?
Well, at the moment, it is doing we're trying to get it out to festivals. We are doing private screenings, but the film sort of talks about mental health stigma in marginalised communities. So we're doing a lot of screenings within the community to try and raise awareness and educate ethnic communities about mental health stigma. So there's opportunities there. But currently, it's been selected for Aesthetica. So
Amazing.
In November, if you're in York and you want to go and see it, it's on 3 times in York. And that's the other thing, because the first film festival I got selected from, there's me thinking, okay, I'll do this film, see what it does, how it gets on, we should get into some film festivals, maybe little ones. BAFTA qualifying Aesthetica was my first film selection. So, for me, that first film festival was Aesthetica, and it's like, Aesthetica, BAFTA qualifying. Amazing. So, you don't know where things are going to lead to. You really don't.
Amazing.
You've got expectations, and then something else happens.
Right. Amazing. So let's just flash back in time to Talent Campus now. What do you think you took from Talent Campus when you did it that's helped you on this amazing journey?
Okay. I think it might have been there were several things, but I think one of the things that kept to me when I was listening to you and to listening to other people speak, but particularly like the way we were being taught, was I just felt like messages going out to me saying, don't follow what everyone else is doing. Don't follow the herd, basically. And I think if there's a lot of people applying for things like, say, BFI funding. There's a lot of people, one thing that came across to me is that be different. If you're different and you step outside of the box and you try a different avenue, you're likely to succeed, and I kind of took that away with me, that I need to not follow what everyone else is doing, because there's thousands of people doing that. Could I be one of the couple of hundred doing this? And I'm likely to be, might get a break or a chance. And I think that was so while everybody else is say maybe wants to get a play on and they apply to competitions to get those, try and win a competition to get a play on, I thought, you know what, I'm going to dodge around that. I'm going to go and speak to a theatre and say, can I volunteer? And in response to volunteering, would you give me free space? So that was an example of, don't follow what everyone else is doing, be different. So I got that out of Talent Campus. Also, to be ready, don't be reactive. I mean, there's a lot of people that I know, they hear a competition's out there or something's happening and they react to it. They haven't got the materials ready. They haven't got their pitch deck ready. They haven't got their script ready. I'm who know me will always say Paniota, somebody who hardly ever enters competitions, because at the end of the day, I want to be ready. I want to have the right pitch deck ready. I want the right script ready. And I think it's really important to be writing, to be squirreling away and be ready, for the right opportunity, because those opportunities can come along and you can miss them. And that was one of the other things that I got out of Talent Campus.
Okay. And what about we talk a lot about community and the actual group, the cohort.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't know. Our group, everyone kept saying that our Talent Campus group was an amazing group of people. I don't know if it was the aura or the vibe that you guys were getting, but they were an incredible bunch of people. I'm still in touch with most of them, and the support. They made me feel like I could do anything, having people in the room that have got the same vested interest or the same experiences, have got the same interest in getting, writing a screenplay or making things, and that community, having a communal support like that was incredible. In the actual fact, now I say Keith was involved in my play, but Mona was also the production manager on my film, and Leah, who was a coach, was the spark on the film. There's a lot of people that I still keep in touch with. Some of those people also supported the film. But during the Talent Campus, I was at a period where I was really low because I lost my father, and yet those group of people come around and I felt like I was being hugged and supported, and I felt like they made me feel like I could do anything, and to be, I think it was a week long, and to be in that sort of atmosphere and to absorb all of that, it really, really invigorates you and motivates you, and it makes you realize what you really want to do with your life, and you need to get on with it. And there's a network of people who are willing to support you, and they're not kind of envious of what you're trying to do. They actually just want to help and be supportive and be a part of that journey with you. And so I got a lot of that, and my Talent Campus people, I'm pretty much in touch with 80% of them still. We're still talking, we're doing stuff together, we're helping each other.
Amazing. Well, I think that's pretty much it, Paniota. What an amazing journey. And, from that account of Talent Campus, I actually want to sign up and do it. It sounds amazing. So final question I ask everybody. If you could offer a piece of advice to a creative, whether it's a screenwriter, filmmaker, or anybody in that massive spectrum of opportunities that creativity offers, what advice would you offer them? It can be anything. Eat green food, or whatever you want.
Okay. Write a page a day. Write a page of script a day. Think about it. If you write a page of script a day, no matter how good or bad it is, think of how many scripts you've written in 1 year. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you can have Christmas off, but a page a day. And that's what I try to do. Amongst all the other things, I think I'm going to try and write a page a day, and I just stack them up, write stuff, because if you don't write anything, nothing is going to happen. So a page a day is my philosophy that I try to stick to. And that is the best advice I can give to any writer.
Amazing. Well, write a page a day. Excellent advice. All about building that repetitive muscle of being creative, even when you don't want to be creative. Amazing. Thank you, Paniota. It's been an amazing conversation. And I'm going to have a chat with you at some point about Talent Campus 8. We'd love to have you come and talk to the people doing Talent Campus 8, share your journey. And in the meantime, I look forward to seeing your movie, and I guess I'll see you at the Oscars if I don't see you before.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye bye.